know that vanilla stuff either. I need something.
Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am Isabel and we are back with another book digestion. And if you haven't noticed, we are again in the Swiss location. So I'm sorry if the light is not on point, if the audio is a little bit fuzzy. We are working on it. And with we are working on it, I mean I'm working on it because this is a one-woman operation. Today I'm bringing you a gripping, exciting, and impressive debut novel, Girls with Bright Futures, by friends and dynamic duo Tracy Dobmeyer and Wendy Katzman. And by the way, you can also follow them on Instagram. I'm gonna leave you the link down below because they are very nice and they're always very active. So Girls with Bright Futures is a novel that I devour when I should have been studying for my linguistics class and exam. But here we are, we passed the class, yes, and the book was totally worth it, if you ask my opinion of it. This novel takes us to Elliott Bay Academy, a prestigious prep school with students that range from the uber wealthy to the less than connected but still well-positioned middle-class students, to the daughter of a single mother that had to live in her car to survive. So we already have this good class divide with amazing commentary about wealth and gatekeeping schools and gatekeeping information and resources, as we know that happens. And as you can see with this setting, we can already imagine chaos and rivalry and cutthroat emotions and experiences and actions from people, but you would think that they are from the students, right? The teenagers, the hormonal, they are all over the place. They're gonna act with no logic or without any regards of the consequences, right? Well, no. This is a different kind of novel because the plot becomes even more interesting since the beginning. It was already interesting, but it becomes more interesting when the school informs that Stanford only has one spot available for early admission and everyone is on the race for that spot. Our three main candidates are cutthroat Alicia, CEO and girl boss, Yikes, that wants her daughter to go to Stanford because she went to Stanford and it would just add to her personal brand and prestige. But most importantly, if she doesn't go, everyone will be talking about her and her failure as a mother and yada yada yada. But hey, they had the money and resources to make this girl go to college, right? So going to Stanford should be easy, right? Then we have Kelly, who is your average gossiper, hands-on mom who's always at school, who's always doing a bake sale or the PTA with something. She is the queen of that stuff. She wants her daughter to go to Stanford because she and her husband went to Stanford, and she thinks that because she is a legacy and her grades have taken a good part of her daughter's sanity, going to Stanford should be easy, right? We conclude with our main girls, or Gilmore Girl-esque duo, with Marin and her daughter Winnie. They are out of place in this school and they can only even pay for it because Marin is Alicia's assistant and Alicia is the one paying Winnie's tuition at Elliott Bay Academy. The only thing that Winnie has is that she is the best. She is genuinely the best student without any of the extras like tutoring and paying off someone to write a college admission essay or any of those things. She is just genuinely the best. But if only school admissions were that easy, right? So let's go over the structure a little bit. Girls with Bright Future is a novel with multi-focused point of views. And I already discussed novels like this. I usually like them, but it takes me a while to connect with the narrative. This wasn't the case. This novel really gets you in, and when the point of view shifts you are kind of like comfortable in accepting this new information because you're already engaged with what's happening. We have the three moms that take the spotlight, and as maybe you notice in my little explanation of the plot, you will see that in a refreshing but honest way, Girls with Bright Future shows this college mania from the parents' point of view. As I said, we have three candidates, and these three candidates are actually the moms more than the daughters. with the exception of Winnie, who is heavily included in the story. But we barely see any of the other kids involved in any of the plans and actions that are being taken for them to go to college. And I think that in this way, Girls with Bright Future really becomes about the mothers, the parents, the people behind that you don't think about when you think about going into college, or the student college mania that happens when you are in high school. It could have easily been a young adult novel that has the same topics, that has the same school with elites and with kids who are more well off and kids who are poor but have good grades. That could be a story. That is probably a story that you already read, because I'm sure have. But the way that this novel detaches itself from that, it becomes an adult contemporary novel about parents and the lengths of what they're gonna do. Because when you read a young adult, you're like, okay, they're young, they stupid, they are heavily invested in this thing because everyone tells them that their whole future is depending on this holy decision. But in reality, the parents play a larger role in these types of stories. The parents are the one pushing for a certain direction, paying for certain things, giving comments that affect the kids' mental health in enormous ways. So this is something I particularly like, and not because I don't like young adult. I like it. I've read these novels and I think they're very good, especially to touch in with the kids that are going into college. But this can touch the parents who have their kids and have expectations to maybe slow down and think about it first, because you don't want to end up like any of these women's. In my opinion, Girls with Bright Futures really places responsibility where it should lay, that it's on the adult, not on the teenager. And this takes me to the themes of the novel that, of course, it's very apparent to you. If you follow the news, you might have heard about the college admission scandal that happened in the US involving Ivy League schools, and that is also known as Operation Varsity Blues. When it came to the public, I believe this novel was in development. I don't know how far they were, if there was only the idea or they already had something written down, but it really echoes this political climate and the commentaries that were around the story when it broke down. I was in Berkeley and my second semester there, and everyone was shocked but not surprised. You know, everyone was shocked that it was so public for the big amounts of money and how many schools were involved in and everything, and the famous big names that were involved. But people already knew that these things happen. You can give a donation, you can build the building, you can use some of the legacy things to get into a school easier or to network your way up. All of that, we already knew that this was happening. But when the news broke in, it was like, wow, it's happening at this length, for this amount of money, for what, to get accepted into a school in where their sweatshirts to a couple of sports events and go to parties. And I think that's also part of the myth of college and university life that the US has heavily created with shows and movies, and I'm not gonna go into that because it's gonna take me forever. But people do have a very twisted opinion of what you're gonna go to do at university, and people have very weird ideas of why you should go, and that's why it also leads to people saying you don't need a college degree and university is a scam. And it is a scam, or more like, and what they are selling you is the scam, not education as a whole. And I think what the book really alludes to is that the prestige is more than an accessory for the parents to say, look at what I did, my kid goes to an Ivy League school and whatever. Like, that's what it is. It's the parents wanting to have this prestige latch on them, attached to them and to their kids and to their last name and whatever that might imply. When going to university really should be about learning more, wanting knowledge, expanding your horizons, your mind, also getting to know people, but getting to know people who are interested in things that you are too, or You know, that kind of like romanticized way of education, I think that is more accurate than what they are selling you, that is just the name of a place. And in Berkeley, I saw it all the time. Like, you had those people that were studying something that they completely despised, and you had people who were there but they couldn't even enjoy being there because they felt like a failure because they didn't get into Stanford or somewhere better. And you also had the people who were looking down on you because you were in your dream school and you were in your dream career, and they thought that everyone should be miserable as a given because that's how things are, and that's not how things should be. There's particularly one part in Girls with Bright Futures that I really like, that cracked me up, because it's this mom saying that, I don't remember, their kid got into an Ivy League school, they were recruited for 2 professional sports, and someone says, how are they going to manage 2 competitive sports, 2 competitive seasons, plus the workload of school? And they kind of point out that they already need a tutor for every subject in high school. And she is like, it can't be that hard, it's just college, right? And I was like, lady, excuse me? What do you mean it's just college? It should be harder than your regular high school, and it should take more of you because you're moving out of your parents' house and you're being independent, and now maybe you have a job and now you don't have tutors 24/7 at your house making you get straight A's. So of course this kid is gonna have a mental breakdown because in a school that they didn't pick, studying probably something that they don't even care about, with very driven, hardworking students that earn their place there, plus sports. What do you mean? Like, it's funny, but it's also really sad because I can totally see people thinking this way and setting their kids for failure or for unhappiness. But I'm not gonna go more over about the scandal and all of that. You have the news. There was a lot of coverage about that. You have the Netflix special that was pretty informative. And if you are one of those people that defend Olivia Jade and her family, and you think that she didn't know what was going on, I invite you to read this novel, and I invite you to read other people's testimonies and life experiences so you can open your horizons and be more compassionate about people who got their place stolen from them. Now I want to move to why is this book working, why does it work, and what is bringing that is new to the table, or what is doing, or what it is that is making it feel fresh. And I do believe that when you read it without checking the authors, because that's me, I never check anything, and sometimes I have horrible surprises, but this wasn't the case because I was reading it and I wasn't aware that we had 2 authors. Why? Well, probably the different points of view and the shifts were helpful for that because we didn't have to follow one strict line, but specifically because I think that they work very well with each other. And having 2 authors, 2 minds, and 2 voices coming as one really helps them bounce and balance each of our 3 main mom, and it becomes more organic. I don't know if they divided it like, oh, you do most of this character's lines, or they did it together, but at the end it feels very cohesive and it makes the characters be real. And in terms of characters, I'm always very picky because I love a good character, but I can spot a lot of flaws in them when writing them. Like, I can read a book and I said, this character is not very well written, and this is not the case. The characters in Girls with Bright Futures are well written, rounded, and they feel real, but you don't specifically have to like them to enjoy them. The backstories, the motivations in them, those are real, those get to you, those are raw emotions that anyone can understand. And they're so well crafted that I think that we have all met or heard about someone that is like one of them or all of them. And as a reader, I feel like because of that, it's easier to forgive character flaws or whatever, because I'm very against judging characters, and I think that that's maybe an unpopular opinion because everyone's like, oh, judge them, they're not real. But I think, well, they are not real, why should you judge them? And I think that it's completely possible to have an interesting, gripping book with great plot and great characters without any of them being morally good. And hell, you can have a bad character, a morally bad character, having an amazing story. Here we have morally great characters having great stories, having real emotions, and acting out of their darkest impulses, with you being very forgiving about them. And the key is that they are very lovable people. These three women are lovable in different ways, in different amounts. Of course, you have your favorite, but all of them in some way or another appeal to you. And in some way they bring up a laugh, or they make you relate to them, even if you have nothing to relate to. Ends up being you worry about them because you know that what they're doing is wrong and you're just waiting for them to find out. And even Marin, who is our good one and our girl that we are hoping that she and even Marin, who is our main woman, who is very good, she is very stubborn, and you just want to shake her a little bit and be like, hey, you can trust people, or hey, help your daughter more, whatever that you feel when you read it. It's not like she is perfect, and that's truly fine, and that's refreshing, and that's good. And I think that the plot moves so fast because we have the mystery that is kind of like there's an accident that happens, and then we go back in time to see what happened, but then we also have school life, the deadlines, the whole one spot admission thing, and then we have events, and then we jump back and forth. There's never a moment of rest in the story, which is particularly good if you like fast-paced, blood-driven stories. And then you have our three characters, so character-driven story, check. On top of all the drama that we might have, we also have motherhood at center. And I don't think that motherhood is an easy role. I'm not there yet, and still, or if I ever, I don't even know if I ever will. But we can see the lengths that people will go to protect and provide for their kids the best way that they can and in their own judgment. And this is an amazing portrayal that I think anyone would like, or maybe not anyone, but maybe you would like. I think it will make a great miniseries like Big Little Lies. Think of that kind of story with moms and gossip and backstabbing. Amazing. Chef kisses. And most importantly, I hope that the hype of this book and its success inspire more dynamic duos of friends to write together and to bring their stories out here in the mainstream of books, because this novel has this feeling that it was written on a kitchen island with many cups of wine and over many laughs, and it shows in the best way possible. It's full of heart. I know that it's a mystery, so a mystery shouldn't feel wholesome, but it does. It feels human, it feels amazing, and the way that the ending works, it's something that I was worrying about a lot, because I was reading it and I was like, oh, I'm really like this. This could be a 5-star book. I hope the ending is not stupid, because you could either go Disney fairy tale and you can go super crude and sad, and I thought, please don't go either way. just pick something that feels real and honors what this book is, and I think they did it. That's why I give it 5 stars. You can check my wrap-up video and I talk a little bit about it, and that's all for today. Please leave me a comment down below. Keep reading, and when you're not, follow me on all my social media, link down below. I am Isabel. This was Girls with Bright Futures, another video in our series of book digestions. And I don't know if you have any book recommendations that you want to give me. I'm open to them. I'm not sure if I'm going to read them right now because I have a lot of things to do. But it's summer, so who knows? Okay, see you next week. Bye!